Hello everyone, welcome to CiviCRM episode 20. Today we're going to be talking about a bit about Civi reports and how to use some of the extensions out there to get the most out of Civi reporting. We're going to do a few sessions on reports. You can't really cover reports in one session, really. There's quite a lot there, and there's a lot of different instances and examples of what people might want to do or users might want to do. So we're gonna split that up into quite a lot of different sessions and break it down a bit more than just trying to cover it all off in one 1 hour slot or 1.5 hours. It'll be too much. So let's just crack on. I'm not expecting this session to take a particularly long amount of time. We're going to go through what reports look like out of the box and just a quick look at a couple of reports, and then an example of how I might want to change that report as an end user, and how I might be able to do that without needing development. And I'm kind of sidetracking, or I'm using some benefits of some tokens extensions to do what I want to do and get what I want to show in the report. So that's why I'm calling it a bit of a tips and tricks, because it's not the normal usage of these extensions, but they do allow you to do that. So I mean, I'm talking about it without context. So let's get on. You should be able to see my screen now. So I've got my CiviCRM WordPress environment set up, and again, I'm just using WordPress because I've got it, and it's just sitting there as an environment. But everything that I do, you could do it in Drupal as well. Sorry about the scrunching. That's my jacket. All right. So let's have a quick look at reports. So if you've not really delved into reports too much, you've got in CiviCRM a whole bunch of report templates that exist. And from any of these templates I can build new reports. So you can see all the templates there, and if there are some reports that have already been configured for them, then you'll see the existing reports that have been configured for them. So for instance, let's take this as an example. I'm going to use the attendee list. I've got it open in a tab up there, but I'll just show you. So let's say I've got the event participant list. So that in effect is going to show me everyone who's got an event against them, and it's showing me some fields, right? So on the columns tab, I can decide what I want to display. So I might say age of event, the address. Let's not do the address, but let's do the email address. So right now I've got those fields. I've added some extra fields to it. So I'm going to see those now. So how old were they when they attended that event? What's their email addresses, etc. So in that way, I can keep, adding more fields. So let's look at the. Let's see if there's anything else on the fee. So let's look at the participant fee. So it's free event by the looks of it. Anyway, so I've got that, and then I've got sorting. So at the moment it's displaying by last name, first name, but I might want to sort it by age, for instance. That's good. That works well. So there's obviously a problem there. I don't think you can sort by the age because it doesn't actually exist. Let's do that again. So yeah, I don't think you can sort by the age, but let's do birthday. Same thing, right? Descending. Yeah. That's not descending, is it? That's ascending. Let's try it the other way around. Yeah, okay, so that's kind of the right way around without the blank stuff. So So in that way, I can configure my report, display options. Do I want a blank column at the beginning? So why have you got that in this report? In this report, it's because you're normally taking this to an in-person event, and you might want to then use a column at the beginning to tick off who's come and who hasn't come. This isn't, this report was produced maybe 10 years ago, before QR code check-ins and all this kind of stuff. So it's a bit in-person style, that setting. Any filters? So with the filters, I can decide what data I'm going to include. So at the moment, this is an event report, so I'm including everyone, but I might say, well, only do people that have a participant status of registered. All right. So I'm going to kind of restrict it. So I don't know what these got there. These are all registered, because I don't want people who've cancelled or have failed to register. For instance, now in some situations I might want that, because they may still show up, and I might want to know that they're showing up, so that I can see information about them. Okay, so what have we got? Display options. Yeah, we've done that. Filters. So in that way, I can have many filters, and I can do all kinds of restrictions on the report. So for an event report, for instance, I might just say I only want to see that one event, because I'm simply running this list for that one event. Right? I don't want to see it for anything else. Developer, don't worry about it. If you're a developer, you'll know what that means. If you're not, then it's not really of any use to you, unless you want to do something like reports outside of CiviCRM, and you might want to use some third-party reporting tools like Business Intelligence, Microsoft BI, or Tableau, or whatever, Data Studio, whatever. Then you might want to see this and see how the data is collated, because you could then plug that bit of SQL into those systems and get the same results out, right? So title and format. So I will call this all right, so I've enabled it, and what I'm going to do is save a copy of this report. I already put that, but all right. It's because I'm changing. Actually, I don't want to do that. I want to create the report, so I'm going to leave that as it is. So let's create that report. Oh, actually, cancel. There's one thing I wanted to do is add it into navigation menu, and I'm going to add it under the events section. I'll add it to my reports. Reserved. No, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to let people mess with it. So normally, if you're an administrator, you probably wouldn't. You would tick that, because you don't want other people to know. I'll just change it. You wouldn't want other people changing that report. It's a common thing you get in CiviCRM. A lot of people have more permissions than they should in the CRM, and they end up making changes to reports, and then it looks like they're broken, but actually someone's filtered it for their event or taken out fields that you needed, etc., etc. I'll make it available in a dashboard as well. So let's create that report now. Is it doing that? Let's do that. I've got my head over there. Okie dokie. So in the events, there's my participant list, GDPR, and you can see it runs, and it just shows me the results. Now that's all fine, right? So they're all stock reports, and there's loads of them. You can have a play around and see if you can get what you want and what you need out of the system. Now let's say on this report, I also wanted to see the membership status or contribution history, or some more information, because it's quite useful to see, for instance, when was the last time this person came to an event. That might not quite work right because they came to this event, but there may be other bits of information, whether they're a member or not, or whether they have contributed, or who's their employer, stuff like this. So I don't have those columns, right? So I don't have membership. Yeah, I haven't checked, but I'm assuming I don't have membership. No, so there's nothing to do with membership there. No. I've got some Veda specific stuff, but I just created a set of fields just to show you that if you have custom fields, then they do show up. So one option would be to create a custom field and against a contact and then say fill it with a membership, but that's not a long-term solution. It's not really workflow, and that's not how you should set up your system. So you know if someone's a membership already because they will have a membership against them. So I don't know if I've got any members, but let's just see. No. So let's go back to one of these guys. Let's add a membership to them. So let's say attention. So I'm going to go in, add a membership. Hey, what are you talking about? Maybe I changed the. Why can't I see it? I should have full access. Alright, what's that all about? Let's have a look. I am a super admin. What is going on here? Sorry, I shouldn't really be worried about this, but I'm just more curious about why I don't have permissions to do those things. Let's try this another way. Let's look at the manage role. I've got ACL set up, so it shouldn't be anything to do with that. There's got to be this. So maybe I'm not a full super admin, but I am the only user on here. All right. So. That's really strange. It must be one of the extensions playing up there. But all right, so I can't add a membership into him, so that's good. I'm just going to make this a bit more interesting to show. So let's go back. Where were we? So we've got our list here. We've got our fields, and like I say, if someone's a member or the last time they donated or anything like that, I can't see it. So if I wanted to see it, the traditional approach to that is do some development or get someone to customize the report, right? But actually I don't need to do that. So in the extensions section, so if I go to system settings, my brain is frozen today, it's not working. So in the extensions, I can add customizations to my CiviCRM. When I say customization, I can extend CiviCRM to have the things that I want in it. So one of the extensions that are out there is summary fields. Now this extension has been around for a while, and what it tries to do well, I think it says it in the title. It tries to make it easier to see from looking at a contact some of the attributes about them. So when I look at a contact, for instance, let's get. So when I look at a contact, sort of I picked a deceased person, but when I look at the contact, without going into each tab, I don't get a summary of what they're about. So how many times have they given, how many events have they been to, are they a member? I don't really get a feel for any of that unless I go into each of the tabs. So what the summary fields tries to do is to make that journey a bit easier, and it tries to show, it shows that information on the front page or in a tab in its own right. It lets you, you can control where it goes actually. So I've got that one, and it does these fields. So it's saying how much contributions, life this year, last year, amount of last contribution, etc., etc. So it's giving me a whole bunch of additional custom fields that didn't exist that don't exist by default, and more importantly, it's going to populate them. So right now, if I was to do this, I would create the custom fields, but then I'd have to write some code or do something to populate them with data. And then you've got joinery's more summary fields. So they extend the summary fields some more, and they add some more information, like how many times, what's their open rate for emails, what's their open rate in emails for the last 12 months, it's the click-through rate. So they, these, you can stack these extensions. So I need summary fields, and then I would put this on top, and I'd get more data and more summary fields. And in that way, you could write your own as well. If there was something that you don't have, you could either PL back to this one, or you could write your own and again extend summary fields again. So that way, you can do what you want as well. But if you do it all in the same way, then it just makes it easier to maintain going forwards. Because obviously, if you were to do your own development to get this information and show it or put it out in a report, then you've got to maintain that, and that's where people often get stuck with CiviCRM. They end up with a really bespoke system, and it's very difficult to maintain when that happens. So these kind of tools make that a lot easier. So let's go ahead and do this. So I'm going to go to my system settings. Let's go to extensions. So I will go to summary. Oh, I need to go to add new. I want the wrong thing. So there's summary fields, so let's put that on first. So download and install. So what I'll do is I'll download and install this, and then I will configure it, and then I'll go back in and add the joinery one. I don't know if you have to do that or not, but that's the way I'm going to do it. So when you install it, if it's all clean, so mine's all clean, you will get in the customized data and screens, you'll get this additional option called summary fields. So if I first go in, there's nothing selected, right? So there are no custom fields to do with summary fields. So what I'm going to do is let's enable all these. I'm going to enable everything. Yes, I'll have it all, please. Thank you very much. Yes. So these are all memberships. So that was all contributions, fundraising. We'll have all the events stuff as well. And I'm not gonna say instantly, right? So what this is saying is when should this data, when should it be worked out? Instantly means as soon as you edit or save a contact, it's gonna do it, or change anything about that contact, it's gonna do something. But I'm going to say no, I don't want it to happen instantly. I only want it to happen when a cron job runs, because if it happens instantly in a largish database, I mean, in the community we talk about large databases, and we imply anything with a 20,000, 30,000 contacts is a large database, but actually large is much bigger than that. So I would say even small to medium sized data sets, I wouldn't want that to be instantly, because I don't want random instances of load on the server and activities happening that could cause others to fail. So I would only run it on the cron, and I'd probably set the cron to run once a day maybe, or something like that, because this information is more about summaries, and you often expect a summary to not be 100% up to date. Like, you shouldn't really expect it. So these summaries are more about running overnight and things like that. So I normally run it off the cron, and you could run it twice a day if you wanted to, or every hour, however you want to run it. But I wouldn't run it instantly and have that load on the system. Exclude summary fields from logging. So yeah, I don't want summary fields logging. So when you've got audit logging turned on, we did a CiviCRM session on that before. Can't remember which one it was, but if you turn that on, then anytime you had custom fields, they were also logged, right? So they were also kept a history of the changes to that. For this kind of thing, you don't want those to be logged because this is not data that a user controls. This is system data. So I don't really need that to be logged because I'm never going to audit it. It's either right or it's wrong. And if it's wrong, then it's wrong because the source data is wrong, i.e. my contact didn't have the right registration on them, or they don't have a date of birth or whatever. So it's that I want to audit, not the summary fields. So I'll say, yeah, exclude it from logging. I don't want it logged. My argument here would be that should be the default as well. When should these be changes applied? I'll say when I submit this form. All right, so do all that. Lovely. So once I've done that, then what I should see. Cool. It's applied successfully. So if I go to custom fields now, I've got my summary fields. I will have this before. Even if I went into it before, I would still have that. It would just be empty when I look at the fields. And I've got all my fields in there now. Right? So it's created all these fields for me, and they're all searchable, which is the important bit that I'm looking for. And if I go back, so by default, it's set to a tab. I could change that and make it inline. So summary fields doesn't show as a tab; it shows on the summary, on the contact summary. But I'll leave it as a tab for now because I'm trying to show you how it all works by default. So now if I go back into, I'm not going to look for Smith again but let's go to my record. Okie. So now we've got summary fields, and right now it's empty, right? So there's nothing in there because I haven't run anything. So I haven't said to populate it. So let's see if there's anybody else. Yeah, so there's nothing in there. There's some activities. I really don't know how this is going to populate because I'm using test data and I really don't think there's anything in there. Just going to see if there's any contributions. Nope. So let me go into. I've obviously got some kind of permissioning issue going on, but I don't know who last messed with this. So let's go in. I'm just going to go. So let's do. Put donation in for $100 completed, and I'll make it. Let's make it a few months ago. So save that. All right, so I've got $100 in my record now. The summary fields doesn't reflect that because I told it not to regenerate or work on, not to recalculate when you make a change to the record. So I'm not expecting it to show. So what you would need to do is make sure you go into your scheduled jobs, and there's a scheduled job. Some fields gen data is set to hourly. So I don't think mine's been. It would have run at 11:32, but I hadn't set it by then. So I'm just going to execute it now. Execute it, yes, please. All right, so that's executed. So if I go back into I'm expecting to see something in here now. Right, there you go. So now we're getting some information, right? So all the date of the last contribution. If there was events, if I had been to an event, they would all show there. Anything that I set to track would show there, basically. So armed with this knowledge, let me see if I can. I still can't do it from here. No, so why? You don't have all the permissions. It's weird. All right, so the only thing I can think is that I'm not an admin anymore, or so this often happens to me. I'm getting sidetracked because I can't understand how from the last time I ran this to now I've lost the permissions. But all right, so I've got those extra fields now, the summary fields. So let's go back into my report. So where did I put it? Here. So now in this report, I have some extra fields that I didn't have before. So I can now include the total lifetime contributions in there. Obviously it's 0 because these guys don't have it. I'll create one against Rodrigo. So I'll put donation and I'll put it for 2012. Okie doke. So that's there. And again, I'm just going to run there. Just going to run that scheduled job. So this scheduled job obviously will be running in the background and it will be updating things in a production environment. I'm just running it because I'm trying to demonstrate how this works. So if I let's go back in there. I did a refresh. So total lifetime contributions. Let's refresh that. So there you can see now I've got his $200. And in the same way, whatever fields that I enabled, events, if I enabled membership stuff, so it looks like I don't have access to the membership section. Maybe it's turned off. Let me just see. It shouldn't be. See if I accidentally, no, it's turned on. I don't know what's happened here. Just turn those. There might be some dependency on those. Maybe there are no membership types. There you go. So let's do that. I'm going to say for member, minimum fee. I don't care about some member dues. 1 year running, lovely. All right. I think we've done a session on memberships. If we haven't, then please do suggest it, and I will do one. So let's go back to. Didn't need to turn all that on, so let's go back to Rodrigo, and let's see if I can add in the membership for him now. Oh, there you go. So that wasn't a very clear message. It wasn't really about permissions. I just didn't have any membership type set up. All right, so I'm going to make this from 2019, 1st of December, and this is where let's record a payment as well. $155. No, save that. All right, so now we've got membership against him. Let's go and I'm going to run that again. Execute it now. Let's go into his summary fields. Let's refresh it. That's a good demo, isn't it? This is what happens when you don't really rehearse it. Let's just have a look at why I had set it to record. Oh, okay, right. So the membership ones, I think what we need to do is add in. Let's add in the joinery ones, right? So let's go in. Let's go to extensions and let's get the joinery custom fields. More summary fields, yeah. So we'll use this one because it's giving us some more options and some more potential fields that we can use. So there's joineries and there's the other one. They're both installed. Lovely. So if I go back now, customize data and screens, summary fields. So we can see we've got a few more. So let's make those. Let's do the totals. There's nothing for that. Date first attended. CV mail. I've got related information. Let's save that. Okey-doke. Let's turn on CV grants. I think you just leave that blank. I don't need to select them. Save that. Oh, I thought this added the date of the last membership. I don't know why it's not doing that. Have a look at this. So contribution. No, it doesn't say anything about membership. So these are all contribute. CV mail. So it's not really about memberships. There are some token extensions that do that, but summary fields doesn't look like it does. So there would be a good extension to write to say, well, I'm going to give you some membership information as well in the summary fields. All right, so I've enabled all those. Have I run it? No, let's run it. Let's execute it. Okay, so I've executed it. So now we'll come back here. We should see. I keep doing that. All right, let's go back here. Total lifetime contributions. No shows. Number of event no shows. Let's do that. That might be interesting. And open rate. And I'm putting that in because that should be the date. And let's do that as well. So that should be attended. I haven't attended yet. I've just registered. So let's see if it excludes this event. There's contribution. Largest count. I've got all sorts of stuff I can put in here. Right. So we can see now it's starting to fill out, right? So no shows. Open rate, nothing, because I haven't been sending emails. Date last attended event. So it does look like it's excluding this one. So that might be useful to see if someone's come to an event who hasn't been to one before. So none of these are all first time event attendees. But you could see if someone's been to an event before. I'm sure there's a field for how many times they've been, etc. I mean, I'm not going to go through all of it, but it's just to give you a snippet of how you can customize the reports to get information that you don't necessarily get in the templates by using some extensions that are designed for other things, but they open this avenue up to you, and then you can use this approach, right? So the final bit on the reports is email delivery. So if I wanted this report emailed automatically, then I can set that up to happen. There might be membership reports or event summary reports or things like that you want to go out to certain contacts, users, members of the team, etc., etc. So I can set those up, and I would set up a scheduled job to deliver those as well, so I can have them going out at different frequencies, etc. I think that's it for this. There are other extensions that introduce more custom fields, and all you need to do is just go in and check and say, well, if that custom field if they're set to searchable, then they'll show up as fields on the reports that you can then use to do things. So just whilst we're here, just so the thing on that I've talked about is the display on the output, but there is the ability to then use them for filters as well. So I can then filter that report by those custom fields that have been introduced. In true database sense, they're denormalized fields, right? So you would denormalize a database to make it easier to work with. For instance, relationships is a good example in CiviCRM, where it's quite difficult to do what you want when the database is set up by the rulebook. So you've got contact A, contact B, you've got some information against contact A, some information against contact B, and then you've got a relationship in the middle, and you want to do some complex stuff like show me all employees for this organization who are also working at this organization or have these special interest groups, and the organization hasn't given in next time. You want to get into some quite complex data. So in a OLAP or business IE, business intelligence reporting, you would then denormalize. So you'd say, well, I'm going to take some of that information and I'm going to copy it into various locations to make it easier for me to do what I need to do. So for instance, that company information from the employee-employer relationship, you would copy a lot of that into the employees, so that it makes it a lot easier then to say, well, give me all the employees of this organization. You wouldn't need to look at the relationship. That information will be held against in a read-only format, and a kind of a snapshot format would be against the employee, and then it just makes your life a lot easier in terms of getting your reporting needs without having to write complex SQL or complex reports or whatever you're doing. So it's a standard practice. It's not something that's CiviCRM specific. It's kind of standard across CRM databases or any form of databases to denormalize. So these fields are all denormalized so you can use them as any other field. The only thing you won't be able to do is edit them. So if I go back in, I say that, I haven't even checked myself, but I think they're all set to read only. They should be. So if I go into summary fields, see, I don't even get an edit. If I edit, it's gonna be everything. So it's not gonna show up. So it's just not there. So they're read only. So no one can change them. So you don't need to. They're purely system generated fields. So they're view only in the Civi sense. I think that is it. So I hope that was useful. We're going to do a few more shorter ones. We've got plans to do some bigger TV episodes again, a bit more business intelligence stuff and marketing automation stuff coming up. We just haven't had the time to prepare. So I thought I'd just do some quick tips and tricks on reporting. It comes up a fair bit. Hopefully that's given you a bit of an insight into reporting and how you could extend it without having to develop and write code. So once again, please do update on ideas.CiviCRM.TV if there's anything in particular you'd like to see. Also, if you're not subscribed, please do subscribe and you'll get notified of upcoming episodes, and you'll automatically then get just updated on any content that we put out. And because we might change the days and things like that, so it's not necessarily going to always be on a Friday or a Monday. So thanks for watching, and we hope to see you again next week, or not next week, the week after. Thank you.